Sometimes we underestimate the importance of characters, and I always wondered to myself, if they never existed, would it affect the overall storyline of the anime? For example, Mai Valentine in Yugioh. Does Mai's existence even matter? And if it does, how and why? All of these questions will be answered in this video, so make sure to like and subscribe. Now in season 1, Mai meets Yugi and Joey on the boat ride to Duelist Kingdom. Now this is just a brief greeting and just an early introduction to the character. Now Mai during the journey challenges Rex to a game and takes his room as a reward. Now apart from Rex having a more comfortable ride to Duelist Kingdom, nothing really of merit happens on the boat. Now very early on, Mai challenges Joey to a duel using her aroma tactics, which makes Joey believe that Mai is psychic. Now Mai completely relies on this trick instead of her own dueling abilities, and once Joey figures this out, he ends up getting the upper hand and winning the duel. Now Joey wins one of Mai's star chips, so you could say if Mai never existed, Joey would just have to win one more duel in Duelist Kingdom, and if you saw Joey's look when it came to Time Wizard, it's more than doable. Now later in the series, Mai convinces Rex to challenge and defeat Joey in a petty attempt to get revenge. Now this potentially is a very important moment for Yugioh as a whole. You see, if it wasn't for Mai in this scene, the chances that Joey and Rex face each other would have been very slim. And as we know, Rex and Joey played for an ante, so the winner would take the rarest card in the other player's deck. Which means if Mai never existed, Rex might not have dueled Joey, meaning Joey would never have obtained the Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now that alone would make an incredible impact on the anime, as Red Eyes is Joey's ace monster, and it even goes on to saving Yugi in a duel against Kaiba. Now even if by some miracle Joey faces Rex in a duel in Duelist Kingdom, they most likely would never have played for an ante, as Rex wouldn't have known that Joey owned the Time Wizard. So most likely, Joey and Rex, if they did duel, would have played for star chips. The only reason Red Eyes was even on the line in the first place was because Mai had warned Rex about Time Wizard, and Rex wanted that card for himself. So even indirectly, Mai is a crucial player in Joey receiving his boss monster. Now Mai is then ambushed by Panic. Yugi duels Panic on her behalf, winning her star chips back for her, which in theory didn't really matter, since if Mai never existed, Panic potentially would have chosen another victim, and I'm pretty sure Yugi would have come to anyone's rescue. The important part of this situation is the fact that Mai was a formidable duelist and now owed Yugi a favor. So when Seto defeats Yugi, Mai comes to Yugi's rescue and offers him her spare star chips that she had won extra. Still to this day, I'm not too sure why Mai even bothered to earn more star chips, unless she was just really bored. But anyway, with the help of Taya, Mai manages to get them to Yugi, and Yugi is able to qualify for the finals. Now if Mai never existed, this scenario would never have occurred, but I don't think it was the end of the road for Yugi. I believe if Yugi never received the star chips from Mai, I think Joey would have given Yugi his star chips. As Joey would believe that Yugi has the best chance of winning and saving his grandpa, Yugi would obviously refuse, but eventually accept the proposition and promise to give Joey the prize money for the tournament in order for his sister's operation. So even though Mai is crucial to both Yugi and Joey entering, I don't think in this instance it would have stopped Yugi's journey completely. Now arguably in Duelist Kingdom finals, Mai comes in clutch for Yugi, as she actually helps Yugi face his fears and helps Yugi get along with the spirit of the Millennium Puzzle. Now Mai didn't go easy on Yugi, however she did go out of her way to psychologically help Yugi. Now if Mai never existed, Yugi potentially would have gone against a different opponent who would have taken advantage of Yugi's weakness. For example, Bandit Keith, which meant that Yugi could have potentially lost a duel, which is actually a very big deal. Now the next duel after Mai versus Yugi was Joey versus Bandit Keith, and Bandit Keith, using his cheating ways, steals Joey's entry card. This means that Joey has a limited amount of time to find his entry card, or else he would be disqualified. Now obviously this is an impossible task as Bandit Keith stole it. However, Mai saves the day and gives Joey her entry card, allowing Joey to participate in the finals. Now if Mai never existed, Joey would never have received this card and been disqualified. But let's be honest, who cares? No offense to Joey, this wouldn't have affected the storyline at all, apart from maybe a tiny hit on Joey's dueling reputation. Bandit Keith would have gotten into the finals against Yugi, and Yugi would have destroyed Keith. Yugi can sense when people are cheating with his Millennium Puzzle, so there was no way Keith was winning this. Now, in the Forgotten Legendary Heroes arc, Yugi and his friends enter a virtual game in order to save Kaiba, who is trapped inside the game. However, it turns out My Valentine was also one of the initial testers of the game and was also inside. Now, in this short filler, Yugi and Joey enter a dueling match in order to win the Niwatori card, which would help them advance in the story. Now, Mai helps Joey and Yugi get the Niwatori card with the Harpy Lady. But if Mai never existed, Joey would have just beaten any other duelist in order to win the Niwatori card. So again, it doesn't really make much difference. But later on, Yugi, Joey, Kaiba, and Mai Valentine face the Big Five. Mai actually uses a Harpy's pet dragon in order to sacrifice herself to make sure the Blackluster soldier isn't destroyed. Now, if Mai didn't do this, Yugi would never have completed the fusion of the Dragon Master Knight with Kaiba's Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which seemed like the only monster that could deal with the five-headed dragon. This brings us swiftly onto Battle City. Now, we don't really get to see Mai duel during the preliminary rounds, however, she does run into Serenity and Duke Devlin, who are on the run from Marek's goons. So if Mai was never there, there's a strong chance that Serenity and Duke would have been kidnapped and used as leverage against Joey and Yugi. Mai's next scene in Battle City is her duel against John Cloud Magnum, and I think I speak for most people when I say this episode was just not necessary. However, it did do a lot regarding building Mai and Joey's character to become closer as friends. Now, for the rest of Battle City Finals, Mai faces off against Marek and loses. But if Mai never existed and someone else took her place, they probably would have lost to Marek as well, let's be honest. Especially since he was using the Shadow Realm as a tool in weakening the opponent physically and mentally. Now, I will say, Mai being in the Shadow Realm was a huge motivator for Joey to defeat Marek. But again, as we saw, Joey lost to Marek anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But I have to admit, if Mai never existed, especially in the Battle City arc, I would miss her. Because one of my favourite scenes is where Joey stands between Mai and the Egyptian god card Ra, as well as Yugi, who has to step in at the final moment. I believe this is such a touching scene. Joey definitely knew he couldn't handle an attack from Ra, but he was determined to stay with Mai anyway. This was very cool, but again, still no relevance to the actual plot or storyline. Now, the final arc for Mai is the Orichalco saga. Now, I won't lie, this is the only arc where Mai not existing is probably a very positive thing in terms of the storyline. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed her in this arc, but she made Joey's life a living hell. Mai joins the Orichalco's order as she hungers for power. Mai later on in the season is responsible for taking Pegasus' soul, as well as dueling Joey twice. The first time she is saved by Valen, however the second time she successfully takes Joey's soul as he is too exhausted to continue the duel. She then attempts to take revenge on Darts for her own actions, and then she loses to Raphael. Now, if Mai never existed, in all honesty, it would have made Joey's life a lot easier. First things first, Joey would probably have been able to keep his soul, and secondly, Joey might have been able to participate in the final duel against Darts. Now guys, I want to hear your thoughts on Mai's relevance to the overall show. She's a great character, but was she an important character? My personal opinion is that the show would have continued as normal, and the areas where Mai does play an important role, it's just not critical enough to derail the storyline. I feel like the problems that she does solve, there could have been other solutions to those problems. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below.